Let's see.
Hey, and we're on air. So, welcome to tonight's very late chat because of G-Web's going long. G-Web's had a great chat. If you haven't had a chance to listen to it, go listen to it. I'm not saying that just because I was in there, but it's actually a very good chat, even though he did it half-ass, but that's another story. But tonight's topic is buying used guns. And before I get kicked off with introductions and everything else, just in case people out there missed it, I'm selling off a bunch of my knives. It's actually almost every knife I own, pretty much. Just keeping a very select few. I buy it myself. I used firearm. I actually have a carry gun. And these are reasonably priced knives. I have a video up on my channel. It's called Knife Sale. In the video, I have a link to the document that shows all my knives. I've raised about half of what I need, and somebody needs to meet the external chat that's running.
Yeah, I was just saying that's.
Every knife I own.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that's all about.
That's your end, Douglas. I find myself. So yeah, it's you, Douglas. I'm seeing your line. There you go. Just mute the external chat. You'll find it. Just pause it or turn it down. But I've raised about half of what I need, so I need your guys' help to raise the last. You know, I've got a K-Bar Warthog, which is a heavy meat cleaver of a knife. GI Tanto, a Kershaw Blur that's like new. Most of these knives are in really good shape. I've got another USA made Kershaw, the Storm 2 up there. It's got a little bit of imperfection on it, but it's a knife that's no longer made at a reasonable price. And I got these all stuff listed up there. I could use you guys' help get these sold, so I don't have to ship these off to Huck to have him put on eBay and then wait, weeks for them to sell. So I'm able to get this gun. So I do appreciate everybody out there helping me out if you can, especially if you're looking for a really cool knife. So with that said, I want to do introductions. We have somebody that popped his chair tonight with Douglas. Yeah. Say hi, Doug.
Yeah, what's going on? I put my headphones on because I don't know what the hell that reverb was all about.
Oh, it was actually the reverb was the I think you have the chat playing like a gun channels.
Oh, okay.
So just taking pause that or turn it on down.
Yeah, I got rid of that window. So.
Okay, then we have Steven.
Hi, I'm Physical Palmer on the Gun Channels chat.
Yeah. So. I always forget your username, so. And then we have Thin Blue Line, who I think has a television playing.
Yeah, is it that loud? Jeez, I have it low.
Yeah.
I can't even hear it. I can't even hear it where I'm sitting, but you okay. That's impressive, actually.
It's either you or Walter, so it's one of you two. Then we have Walt here.
How's everybody doing? Ray Foreman on the Gun Channel, and I have a YouTube channel named Ray Gun Racer, but I've never put nothing on it because I'm lazy.
You could turn out like Thin Blue Line and do some half-ass videos.
Hey. Hey, at least I'm trying, right?
Yeah, exactly. I told you to do your handcuff review. Everybody wants to know about those pink fuzzy handcuffs you have.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. And then, of course, you got myself, Mr. Quark71. Again, selfless promotion. I got the knife sale going on. And yes, I'll bring that up a lot because I really do need a carry gun, and these Glocks are going to sell out, so help me out. All right, tonight's topic is very, it's very specific to me. Oh, we just have G Lee join us here. So, hey G, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm G on the Gun Channels on July 25th.
All right. Okay, this topic is very, important to me. I'm actually looking at, because I'm selling these knives and need a carry gun, getting either like a Glock 22. That's going to be my first choice, but I've seen a couple of Smith & Wessons that they have up for sale as well, which even though I don't like the triggers, the prices are hard to beat. So it might go that way too, but that's a long shot. But it's going to be one of those two for sure. Unless I can find like a 19 or a 17, or I get more knives sold than what I thought, or people just want to donate to help me get it out. You know, quark71@gmail.com is my PayPal address. Just send me a gift.
What website were you?
Sorry about that.
You say you're looking at?
There's different sites out there. I could tell you the sites.
Like Bud's Guns and.
For used, I'm looking at CDNN, TNT Sales, Sportsman Outdoor Superstore. I want to thank Ralph Glock Guru for posting that link on gun channels earlier. They all have some cool options there. Those are three of the sites I know of that sell the police trade-in firearms.
Are you specifically?
If anybody else there knows,
or are you looking at like your local arms list and I guess like forums and stuff like that too?
Yeah, so I want to point out too that slickguns.com or .net or whatever it is also a great site to go through, and you can specify caliber and handguns, and you can go through and it'll kind of pick up all the deals from all the websites. It's not always up to date, but you can click on a gun that you are interested in, and it'll give you the latest deals. So that's a good way of checking multiple websites at one time.
Slick Guns. I forgot about that one. I want to say that I've been looking on Arms List, my local Arms List. We don't really have a local forum. It's Arms List is my up here is there, but they're sitting there charging $800 for a SIG P250.
Whoa.
Used.
Wow.
That's excessive.
That's crazy.
Thank you. That's the kind of prices.
Did you go to
Glock? Yeah. A used Glock 19 with one mag. They're trying to get $700 out of. I can go and buy a brand new Gen 4 from a big box store and pay $20 less.
You can buy. Yeah, that's crazy. I've been seeing Gander Mountain. I went and checked because I kind of have a bunch of Glocks, and they had a Glock 26 on sale for $399. Had two mags with it, the box, and it was $399. I checked it; it looked brand new. I almost bought it. I already have one. I almost bought that because it just looks so good.
Yeah, I do go to Gander Mountain, even though mine is a deserted wasteland. I don't know how they stay in business. Since Cabela's moved in up here, and I haven't checked Cabela's used guns lately. But I go to Cabela's, which parking lot's a quarter full. That's a huge freaking parking lot. So a quarter full. Don't make it sound like it's empty. It's got probably 50 cars in the parking lot. Where Gander Mountain has one car.
Well, in Ohio and Michigan, you go to either one of those, and they're full as hell.
Yeah, same here.
That's Green Bay. Cabela's is just freaking packed full. Gander Mountain is, you walk in there and it's like, well, there's only 2 employees working. Well, I know why, because they only have one customer.
Yeah, Gander Mountain's usually $100 over what it should be.
Yeah, they're way overpriced.
Yeah, so you got to watch.
I never go there.
However, they will deal.
Yeah, I said that I'm looking at an M&P as well, but that's a long shot.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Go to Bud's Guns, man. They get those used.
I refuse to buy it from Bud's just because I refuse to use my credit card at Home Depot or Target.
Oh, okay.
And security breaches, no way am I doing that, and no way am I going to sit there, send them in a check so I can pay 3% less.
But Hickok 45 tells you
clear.
you must buy from Bud's Guns to support Hickok 45.
Yeah, it's true.
Like he's not making enough off of YouTube already.
So I want to make a few comments too with regards to kind of the used gun market. I look at used Glocks pretty often on Arms List, just out of curiosity. And what you're describing with regards to the overpriced used Glocks happens here as well. Pretty much every used Glock on Arms List here is more expensive than it would be new. And I have no idea why this is happening. I mean, I guess people are paying these prices. I bet it blows my mind. It seems like the only way to get a Glock, or excuse me, get a good deal on a used Glock is to go with a police trade-in, and you're pretty much constrained to 40 caliber for that. That's kind of my observations with regards to this topic.
Yeah, well, I want to bring that up too, and I think the reason why Armsless is that way is, well, sometimes it's just a, I'm asking 700, but I'll really accept 300 type deal. Maybe somebody will bite and pay me $700. Maybe somebody will just offer me $300 and I'll take it. But every time I try to contact people and are you willing to negotiate your price? And they come back, no, it's firm.
If you went to like any little gun stores, even here where I live, you go to little gun stores, they have Glocks on sale all the time.
Yeah, but as going back, I told the person I could just go down to, I'm going to use Gander Mountain as an example, and just go down to Gander Mountain and buy it brand new for $20 less than you're asking. And then you have to go through the background check and wait 2 days. And I said, yes, but then I'll have a brand new firearm and not one that's secondhand.
Just remember, Gander Mountain will deal, so keep that in the top of your head.
I know they will deal, and I've dealt with them. I actually bought my SIG 2022 through Gander Mountain because they had it on sale, and then they had it priced differently on their website, and then because I had an issue with a used gun I had bought through them, they gave me another $50 off, so I got mine for relatively inexpensive.
Well, what the thing is about tonight is buying new guns. As long as they lock up, the barrel's not too worn on the top where they lock up. I'll tell you what, you can get a good deal of Gander, but don't buy a new gun because they're gonna put it in your butt.
Oh yeah, they've got more room to move on their used firearms, and I was able to. I thought I was getting a great deal on this used firearm, but first time I took it out to the range, it basically broke. So you can't find out that stuff when you're looking at it. Not necessarily, anyway. Unless you want to strip it down to its frame. But buying used guns, we're kind of on a topic here in our can be iffy at times, but there are ways to go about making sure that you're going to get a good used firearm.
Oh yeah.
And one of the ways is, if you're doing it person to person, is to talk to the person and get to, be able to read what they're saying. And that's body language, and inspecting the gun and everything else too. But body language. I've turned away deals just because this guy's lying to me. This gun doesn't have 500 rounds through it. This gun probably has like 10,000. But they're trying to underestimate. This gun's only got 500 rounds through it.
So I think it's fair to assume that anytime you buy a used gun and they say there's like X rounds through it, it's probably more like 2 times X. So just make that assumption no matter what. People are always underestimating.
Back in the old days, I believed that, but now I don't believe that. People like to say, "Hey, I shot 1,000 rounds through it." You look at the gun; there's no wear, back on the barrel lug or anything. So I see people saying they shot like 1,000 rounds through it, and when I look at it, it looks brand new. There's no finish wore off on it or anything else. So.
By the way, I shot 50,000 rounds through it in a weekend.
How many?
50,000 on a weekend.
Was that through an HP-22?
Yes, it was.
Where'd you get your ammo? Did you get your ammo off eBay or no?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, if you buy a Glock with 50,000 rounds through it, you'll be able to tell by the barrel lockup and everything that you did that.
Yeah, but going back to this, and that I want to bring this up is when you're looking at a gun, inspect the gun closely. Field strip it if they'll allow you to.
I always field strip Glocks. Always.
So I'll go ahead and say too, if they won't allow you to field strip it, then walk away. It's not worth it. If you can't see the internals, it's not worth it because it's probably fucked up beyond belief.
Correct. Maybe that person did a hack job on some homemade gunsmithing. Field strip it.
Okay, so we're talking about inspecting all the guns and stuff, but that's good and all. But if you're buying used guns on the internet and you're ordering them in from like somewhere like a Buds or J&G or something, does that make it uncomfortable at all because you don't get to see it before you receive it?
Well, I'm going to talk about that in just a second here, but I just wanted to, on this person-to-person, I want to finish it up. Bring a flashlight with you, too, because that's going to let you check the gun. You may not be in the best situations. Now to go on what Geely, yes, buying a gun from a reputable site like J&G or CDNN, there's a little apprehension because you can't see it and inspect it beforehand, but these are big businesses. They've got the reputation on the line. They're not going to send you out a piece of junk. But then again, before you take possession of the firearm at your FFL, they instruct you to go ahead, look over the gun, field strip it, check it out, make sure it functions. If it doesn't function, then you have your FFL ship it back to them, and they can either replace it or you can get your money back. It's a little bit different if you're buying one off an auction site. It all depends on the, like gun broker. That gets me really apprehensive there.
That's true.
That's just a personal thing because I'm really concerned about, the gun function. What if this person doesn't want to take the gun back? What if the person doesn't believe me that I'm saying that, the gun's out of time, or the firing pin's broke, etc. Before I take possession of it. And I've dealt with eBay, and never having bought a gun through an auction site, I'm a little bit worried. Somebody, if I were selling one, I'd be a little bit concerned about somebody pulling a fast one on me if they're having it sent to their buddy's FFL.
Yeah, to me, it's always been scary to order a gun over the internet. You got to check lockup and revolver or an automatic. So I've always found it hard unless it's new. I just can't do that.
Well, that's the thing with I've got a good business relationship with my gun shop. They're very professional. They want you to inspect fire. I've been in there when people have got their guns online and they're picking it up. They actually tell the person, look over the gun before you take possession of the firearm. Make sure it is what it is, and that it's functioning. It's the worst thing in the world to have to do is, you fill out all this paperwork, you take possession, and then it's your gun. Now you've got to send it back to the manufacturer and pay for repairs if it's a used gun.
But one thing with a Glock, though, if you find an error, everything's so easy to replace in it. Not a big deal.
Oh, on a Glock, I'm less concerned about buying a used Glock, even though I've never owned one, just because of how simple they are. But if I'm buying a revolver, it's a different story. I'm buying a more complicated SIG. It's a different issue.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I own 8 Glocks, and I have no problem with none of them. Back probably when I was younger, I didn't like Glocks at all. I didn't trust them. But now it's, or if I leave the house, that's what my carry gun always is a Glock. Always shoots.
Yeah, but it's oh, sorry, I was reading and trying to talk at the same time. It does not work for me very well. Yeah, Glocks are reliable that way. That's one of the reasons why I'm heavily leaning toward the Glock over an M&P. And I thank you for the information, G. It was helpful. I won't read it all out. I just want to thank you for the internal. When you buy a used gun, I'm going to talk about revolvers here, and what to look for when you're buying a used revolver. Because I think the used revolver is a lot more complicated process to buy used and what to look for than, say, a semi-auto. And those that are revolver guys out there, and Douglas, feel free to butt in whenever. You can talk over people. Don't worry about it. We don't get offended. When you buy a revolver, some of the things you want to look for are timing issues, cylinder play, cylinder wobble, as I like to call it, it's a back and forth movement. Those are the three big things. Cylinder timing is, yeah, and Iraq Vet has a good video on it. Is very important because if it's out of time, that means that when you pull the trigger, it could completely miss the primer. Or if it does hit the primer, the bullet is shedding off pieces of lead as it goes into the barrel because it's actually hitting the side of the barrel.
Yep.
And
if you
the
check out
best way to check that out.
If you check out the timing on a revolver, like if I buy a used revolver, I go through every cylinder, lock it out, and you wiggle it, see if it's not wiggling too much. That's really not a big deal. If it moves like a quarter inch or 1/16 of an inch more than it should, don't buy the damn gun. There's plenty of revolvers out there.
Yeah, what I'm going to get at here with that is this is where a flashlight comes in very handy, especially when checking out the timer, because you're going to sit there and lock the cylinder up, and you'll do that back and forth play, but you want to shine a flashlight down or between the between the cylinder and the frame, and look down the barrel. I know you're pointing a gun right at yourself. You're going to make sure it's empty first. I don't think I need to tell everybody that.
Well, yeah,
you're going to see where the chamber you're going to see where the chamber lines up, and if there's movement on there, you can actually see part of the cylinder.
Yeah, if the cylinder locks up and everything, you look through it, make sure the barrel's good, and the cylinder doesn't move from side to side on each round. You can tell. You can tell people beat on it or not, really, for a revolver.
Right. They do the, Hollywood, we're going to close the cylinder this way, which is the quickest way to ruin timing. They do the cylinder flip.
Yeah.
But another thing that people often overlook is that front to back play. That's where the cylinder will move toward the rear or the front of the gun. And that is very important. You want a pistol with none, a revolver with none or very little of that when you're buying used, and preferably none if you can, because every time you fire a round through there, it's actually making the problem worse. So every time you do that, you're beating the gun a little bit more, and all of a sudden this cylinder will basically fly all the way back or all the way forward, and it's ruined.
Yeah, so that's called end shake. And
end shake, thank you. I was trying to think of the term.
There's actually a pretty easy way to measure that if you have the right stuff. If you have the little gauge measurers, they're like a little key, and there's all those little slabs that come out and say, oh, this is a 10,000th of an inch or whatever. And
yes.
They make those little keys. Each manufacturer usually has specifications for how much is acceptable. So it's, I guess if you have that available to you, you can check it. If not, it shouldn't be too much.
You can go to a hardware store and pick one up for a couple bucks, and they're brass. They're not going to scratch the metal. And that's why I actually used one of those when I had my Dan Wesson. That's a gun I hate selling the most in the world. Trust me. You use that to set the barrel spacing when you put the barrel back on it. Those that are familiar with Dan Wessons, they have interchangeable barrels, so you can have different length barrels. It's really cool. You need a gauge to check. Set it. I think it was 0.06. I think was the gauge measurement. So,
yeah, it's different on every type of manufacturer, like Colt, Smith & Wesson, so and so.
Right. That's different. But I'm talking about the end shake. You do not want any of that if you can avoid it in a used revolver.
Right.
Because, as I said, every time you fire a round, it's going to get worse and worse. You're not going to notice it, but eventually it's going to become useless. Because it's a beating every single time. And cheaper revolvers develop that problem quickly. Cough, Taurus, cough.
Well, I guess it depends, because back in the 80s, this was before I was born, my grandfather bought a Taurus Model 85 revolver, 38 special. And
back when they were made by Smith & Wesson.
Oh, see, I didn't know they had switched, but that gun still runs amazingly.
Yeah, Smith & Wesson owned Taurus for a while, and actually Taurus still uses machinery from Smith & Wesson. The
Oh, see, I
tooling is
didn't know
still
that.
being used from the 80s. So,
Never mind. Forget that. I was just saying it runs great, so I was like, maybe I got a good one, or
well, you could have bought a Jennings instead, you know. But
well, I mean, could have got a Caltech too.
no, I'm just. I'll tell this really quick because it's partially used gun, but partially new too about Taurus. My friend's revolver was their little snub nose 357. Would fire when the trigger was released. It was
What?
basically all the way to the reset point. As soon as you hit that reset point, the gun fired. Yes, exactly.
Dangerous.
Just a little. And then mine was a 22 revolver. And, you know, it's 22 shooting normal 22 bulk rounds, not any of the stingers or, you know, blasters, stuff like that. It's a normal 22s and some shorts too, so it wasn't shooting anything high powered. Went out of time, not once. Went back to went out of timing once. Went back in, got repaired, got it back again. Within 100 rounds, it went out of time again. Sent it back, got it repaired, returned to me, and I immediately sold it.
Man.
Yeah. So that's my issue with Taurus. I've had 2 bad lucks with those. So.
Yep.
I mean, there are a lot of, like, Charter Arms makes a pretty good one. I mean, if you're looking at revolvers wise.
No, we're not going that route. We're looking to talk about used guns.
My grandfather just bought a used one not too long ago.
Okay, well, picking up used guns. Anything else? Got any tips on revolvers? What they should look for? All right, I'm gonna say our Iraqi vet 8888. Back when he was with Barry, has a great video, and I want to thank whoever posted this in the internal line.
You're welcome.
I know it wasn't you.
No, it was me.
Okay. Has a great video on what to look for in purchasing a used revolver. And, you know, I hate pimping a big channel like that, but they have a good video on it.
Want me to link it or no?
I have nothing against Charter Arms. So watch that. Now, I've never bought a used pistol, so I never really looked into what you need to look for in a used pistol, and I really need to do that before I get this Glock. So for those of you who buy a lot of used pistols, what do you look for when you're buying a used pistol?
I don't know. For me, it's slide locking back, revolver barrel, and make sure the cylinders are in time. And
I'm talking about just semi-auto.
well, the semi-autos, you know, I look for the slide locking back, and I'll be quite honest. If I buy a semi-auto and it's going to be used, it would probably be a Glock. All right, I'm a Glock boy. I own a bunch of other guns though. If it was new and I was buying it, it'd be a Glock. If not, I don't think I'd buy a used gun besides a Glock that's been used.
I mean, I guess it depends on the gun. I mean, you know, obviously check the internals. You know, check wear on the gun. I mean, a lot of times you can tell how much a gun's been used by how much wear it has on it. You know, depending. I mean, obviously a police trade-in is going to have a lot of wear on it, but probably not too much use. The magazine it comes with, you know, just check, make sure that's functioning all right. I mean, it's not being screwy, or make sure it locks the slide back, like Walt said. You know, just simple things.
I'd check where the cartridge meets the face of the slide. Look for corrosion on there. That could be a big factor. Some guns are known to have a lot of corrosion on there. It's kind of, you know, it's crazy to think about it, but believe it or not, some companies like Smith & Wesson had some issues with that.
Yeah, I want to talk about, you know, Thin Blue. We talked about this a little bit off air about police trade-ins. They're holstered a lot, rarely drawn and used.
Exactly.
So they're rarely fired. You know, they're drawn a lot. They're holstered, you know, reholstered, etc. So they're going to show the, you know, classic wear of being, you know, pulled in and out of a holster, you know, in some cases multiple times a day. You know, and then, you know, you're going to see that wear on the external, and maybe there'll be a little bit of rusting on, you know, like on the slide or something like that. But, you know, internally, these guns are well kept. It's kind of like buying a police, you know, a police car, you know, after it's put on the market. They're well taken care of. You know, they've been repaired. You know, oil's changed. You know, everything else, because they got to be safe for the police officer, the driving. So guns are the exact same way. They're well taken care of, but, you know, and they're well checked over. So you know, police trade-ins, I'm a lot less leery about buying a used police trade-in.
The nice things about the Glock thing, though, if you decide to get one, is if it messes up, parts are like so easy to get. Easy.
And, you know, you can ship it into Glock too, and, you know, Glock's got the oh, excuse me, forever warranty and their guarantee. But they'll do an overhaul the gun for you for a price too.
No, I understand.
Which is nice. You know, it's not that much. I think it's like $85 or something like that. But yeah, if you're halfway mechanically inclined, you can take care of a Glock. I know that. They're a lot easier to take care of than, say, a SIG.
I agree with everybody. If you buy new used guns, Glock's prices for what they are way expensive, but it comes down to you know, if it's always going to work every day you use it, then I say you grab one. That's what you're looking for.
I want to say this about they're way over expensive. I kind of agree with you. A brand new Glock, at least locally, you know, they're in the, you know, go to my gun shop, they're in the upper fives. You know, that's what a brand new one costs. And Glock, when they originally put them on the market, they put them at $300, and nobody wanted to buy them because they thought they were drunk. Because they're $300, so they moved the price up to, I think it was $500. People started buying them because, oh, I'm buying a $500 gun, not a $300 gun.
Well, I was the same way. You know, if it's not metal, it's not worth the money. I have some metal, some guns and some polymer guns, and I carry Glock every day.
Yeah, and, you know, you guys heard me ripping on Glocks before, and I still say they've got the incorrect grip angle, but I never griped on them about being reliable. They look like a block. You know, I don't think they're pretty at all, but they work. Kind of like the AK. I think the AK is a, you know, a fugly gun, but they work. That's why I like AKs.
Yeah, they're both good guns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I
just
mean,
want to bring that up.
I think some people get too hung, and this is just my opinion. I think people get too hung up on, well, the Glock looks like a block. Yeah, but it's not. You're not buying a Glock because it's pretty. You're buying it to defend yourself.
You're
it's not
buying
like,
because it works.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's not like you're buying a 1911. You know, that's a display piece or like some part of history. You know, it's not like you're buying something that you're looking to display or looking for looks in for aesthetics. You're buying it to defend yourself because it works. You know, and that's just.
Yeah, my biggest gripe with the Glock is the fanboys.
Yeah, those kind of get annoying sometimes.
Yeah, they get very annoying.
Just like 9/11s too, though.
Oftentimes I play the anti-Glock just to piss off the fanboys.
Yeah,
You bastard.
I like all types of guns.
I won't call it the term I used to call them at, thanks to G-Webs, but...
I like all guns, but I mean, you know, getting hung up on Glock because, well, it's reliable. Well, there are a lot of other guns that are reliable too. You know.
Yeah, no, I want to talk about, you know, people do use long guns as well. We're not just talking about handguns here. This is a firearms and guns topic. So, with long guns, with bolt actions, especially with rifles, headspace is a big issue. You can see that, especially military surpluses, headspace on the if you're out there buying a Mosin. I know it's all they're out there now, but they were a lot cheaper. You could gamble that money and not need a field gauge or no a no-go gauge. But that's one thing you have to look at, and especially with military surplus, you've got to look at the rifling and the barrel shape. And again, that's where a flashlight comes in very handy.
And the crown, too, on military surplus.
Crown on all used long guns I always look at. I mean, that's just, I'm sorry I didn't bring that up. That's a given.
Yeah.
So you want to keep that in mind. I don't know a whole lot about semi-autos. My long guns have been bolt action, so I don't know if you have to do the same thing for a semi-auto or not. Check the headspace, etc.
Checking the headspace is the only reason I don't make the uppers on my AR-15s. Kind of scares me.
Okay. And use shotguns.
I have one shotgun. It's a Winchester Marine. I put a falling stock on it, and that's perfect for my house.
Yeah, I've never bought a used shotgun, but I imagine you just want to make sure it functions. I mean, it's the pump action. You just want to make sure it pumps. I really can't think of a whole lot that can go wrong with the shotgun. Brake actions. You don't want to make sure it's not rusted all out, but I think shotguns are probably the easiest thing to buy used. You're buying a single shot or a double barrel. You want to make sure that the hammer function and everything that's normal like that, like you would a new gun.
I tell you what, I had teased my brother about in his office. They had a Winchester Marine stainless steel, and I said, "When are you going to deliver my gun to me?" He pulled out his trunk and gave it to me. And I'll tell you what, nice gun. I kind of put some like bells and whistles on it, but I'll tell you what, I love that gun.
All right, I need other people to jump in here too at times, and not just me talking.
I'm trying, dude.
I know you are, Walt. I'm pointing at the line. He's actually been talking to that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I always talk, Cork. You just don't listen to me.
Well, you're an entitled little punk.
Hey, Finn, just lie. You'll be all right.
Ask questions, even if you know the answer to them. But I want to go back to websites out there to buy used firearms, because I think that's probably the biggest thing that people are curious. We named a few, and I haven't seen anything come in from the external.
Cork, there's a link.
Different sites.
Pink Panther just posted.
Thank you. I mean, I'm looking for reliable sites, not something that is gonna take my money and run. So that's the biggest thing, is looking at these places. But we've got CDNN, I know, sells used guns. J&G Sales sells used guns, although take their description and then their pictures, and they're showing basically a brand new gun when they show their used guns.
Yeah.
Just take that.
Howie.
So keep that in mind. Then there's that one that I mentioned earlier, but you've also got Gunbroker, which I think is a great place. It's an online. That's like eBay for guns, which is awesome, especially if you can get it from a dealer. I have an issue with buying something online from a person just because it's a lot harder to deal with if you got somebody with an issue.
Now, Bud's the other one.
Yeah, I won't recommend Bud's. but that's a different story. But Buds is the only place you can go if you have no problems with them.
What's the controversy with Buds? This is new to me.
Well, Yankee,
Buds,
he screwed over Yankee once, and I kind of listened to that, and so I kind of like follow the same thing.
Okay.
well, the problem with Buds, it's not just Yankee. They've done this a few times, but they've had multiple security breaches
Oh, okay. That's not
where
good.
credit card information was stolen.
Yeah,
Whether
screw
it
that.
be somebody hacking their site or one of their employees just stealing information.
That's freaked up, man.
So
Yeah,
Buds is like my wife. Same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, that messed up.
There's got to be I would guess it's an employee thing.
It is.
Because you're not going to have some Chinese fucking guy, hacking into Bud's guns. But
Yeah, that goes to Bud's, ability to hire the correct people to work in there.
yeah. Yep. This new town
You don't
business
hear
ain't
about,
working out, so I'm going to steal some credit card information.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you take that chance if you're going to go to McDonald's and go through the drive-thru and hand this college dropout who's going to, or high school dropout that's main goal in life is to be assistant manager at McDonald's when he turns 50.
Sweet, dude.
Yeah, you're risking him scanning your credit card underneath the counter.
Yep.
If you do, that's a risk you take, But you don't expect that when you use a place that's an online merchant to, have either an employee stealing your cards or having it broken into. Look what happened with Target and Home Depot.
Yeah.
They got hacked, and those are major places. But the only reason I think Walmart hasn't been hacked yet is because it's a bunch of poor people. They don't want that information anyway.
Yeah, that's a good thought there. Because everybody hates Walmart. You'd think they'd be, cyber terrorists would be messing with them all the time.
So that's my issue with Buds. But if you're paying by money order or check and don't mind the wait, then you shouldn't have any issue. And plus, I hate we're going to charge you 3% to cover our credit card fees. That's another thing that pisses me off.
Yeah, the cash. Oh, this is the cash only price.
Yep. If you want to give somebody, they should do this. We're going to give you a cash. If you pay by cash, we'll give you a discount. Take 3% off. But leave the price up there for everybody that's going to pay by credit card because, that's just wrong. But again, that's my looking at it. I've had a friend use Bud's guns numerous times and never had an issue. But hey, that's me. You also got your local places, and there are places that have local forums. I wish I had that ability up here. They have, a local place I could sell or buy used firearms from instead of Arms List. But Arms List is a great place. I know Good Guy with a Gun 77 uses Backpage, I think it's called. But I really think that's a place he just picks up his hookers too. Pink Panther put in Keisler, I think it is, KIESLER.com. Put in used firearms there. I'm not seeing he put a link in there to a SIG, but I wish I had the extra money. And then it's got a DAC trigger. I can actually get those a little bit cheaper somewhere else. A DAC trigger, if those aren't familiar with SIG trade-ins, are double action only.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody's wondering what a DAC trigger is, it's double action only. Some of them aren't double action only, but they're also known as the DAC trigger. So I can just, I think we cover this topic fairly well and what you look for a few places you can do it. I know we've done chats about this in the past too, so if you want to go look back at them, you can, but I wanted to bring it up, especially since it's topical to me. So, Well, let's move on to general chat for right now. I don't think it's going to be made into a podcast. It's not long enough, and Job's going to have a big enough problem with other ones. So, I've been looking, we'll kind of talk still on the same subject. I've been looking at the Glock 22, and I've had somebody message me on YouTube that don't buy a Glock 22 because, it's really designed for the 9mm, and that you can, expect the gun to break faster when you shoot 40s out of it.
A Quark is a Glock 22, a 40 caliber.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'd love to be able to, I'd rather get a Glock 17, but I don't see those out for...
You said you wanted to use this as an everyday carry, right?
Yes, and I know, before people get in and start harping on this, I know it's a full-size gun.
Yeah.
So was my SIG SB 2022. I carried it every day inside the waistband, no problem.
Okay, well, if that's not a problem, then so be it.
Yeah, with the right holster, a full-size gun does not bother me. I'm 6'4", 275 pounds, 280 pounds, whatever I'm at now, but right around that weight. I've actually lost weight, so I'm under 300 pounds. It's a good part. Different people, it's not going to be able to work for them, but there we go. And also, go check out my knife sale. Buy a knife for me. Really help me out. Thin Blue Line's too cheap to buy a great knife.
I got way more knives than I need.
You can always use another one. This is a Quark knife, owned by Quark. It's special.
Okay.
In other words, rarely been used. Because my everyday carry is still my Cold Steel.
I hope it's never been used.
That's what my everyday carry.
Did you get it out of the evidence locker?
Yeah, I do thank you, Pink Panther, for the link. Yes, I do like SIGs. I believe it's that not Sportsman's Guide, but Sportsman's Super Warehouse or whatever it is, has them on there as well. I don't want a double action only. If I'm going police trade-in, I'm going a striker fired, or if they had police trade-ins that were single double, or double single, I should actually say. But some of the knives I have up for sale is a Kershaw Blur, the Desert Sand color, which is $45. I got a Berg Car 2, a Kershaw Tension that's no longer made, Kershaw Asset, Ontario Utilitac 2, Cold Steel GI Tanto. I've got a Buck 110 Finger Groove, a Buck 110 Echolite, which is a Ghost Town custom knife. So it's actually Huck over at Ghost Town custom knives actually modified the knife, and the price I have listed is the price he would sell that knife for. So I took his word for the pricing. If you're curious what that would cost you if you got it right from Huck, it'd be $50. Maybe $60 since mine is considered used since I own it. I'm the second owner. So, but $50 as he told me I'd put the price on for that, which is a great deal. You get a really nice knife, which is really nicely modified. I got a K-Bar Warthog, the fixed blade, the one that's basically a cleaver, which is freaking awesome knife, especially for $40. They're like $50, and then I still have to pay shipping on a knife that weighs quite a bit. So I'll get like $30 for that after shipping. So you should actually go ahead and buy that K-Bar Warthog, and it cost me $20. And I got a Kershaw Storm 2, which is another knife that is no longer made. It's a USA-made Kershaw. You don't see those very much without spending a lot of money. This is all I put in. I don't think this knife will ever sell, but I put it in there anyway. Smith & Wesson Special Tactical, heavily used knife. But I figured somebody may want it. And those are the knives I have up for sale right now that haven't sold. So help me out. Maybe you're a buck fan and want a nice Ghost Town Custom Knives entry-level custom knife, and then you can get into his really big modified ones. Or maybe you want a nice finger groove Buck 110 from 1994, 1993. I always forget the year, but it's right around there. It's got the date stamp on there, so you can actually figure out what it is. I haven't looked. And those things are pretty expensive, and this is a nice vintage, lightly used one. Yes, shameless self-promotion. And thank you for listing all the police trade-ins. I was trying to look for that. Let's see. I get myself a Glock 26 Gen 3. Let's see what the 26 Gen 3 is. $385. I mean, that's a possibility. What's our 27? $365. So that's a possibility. What is their Glock 22 pricing? $339. That's not bad. I haven't looked at all the information yet. Let's see what the 23 is. $339. I mean, this is actually the 23 is a little bit smaller, so that might actually make a better one.
Yeah, you like against the 23, or you just prefer the 22?
22 because it's the most common. 23 is just a little bit smaller, so I mean a little bit easier to conceal.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was just because it was easy to get, or you just wanted a 22 for a specific reason. On this site here, this Keisler, if I'm pronouncing it right, they have a couple Glock 23s. And a 27 if you're interested, but I don't think you are.
Nah, I'm not going to go with the 27. I'd go with the 26 and with the 27. Oh, the Glock 23 is they got a Gen 2 and a Gen 3. So those are always. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out. They're not saying what it comes with. Let's see. One 13-round magazine. Yeah, it seems like a lot of the police trade-ins only come with one magazine.
Yeah, but Glock mags are relatively cheap compared to other guns, you know.
Yeah, CDNN has really good prices on original ones too.
Oh yeah, I know CDM. That's the one I was looking at, but they're basically sold out of them all right now. They had a whole bunch in like 2 days ago, and then they're all gone already. Which kind of pissed me off. I'm like, why can't you keep these in stock until I get my knives sold? By the way, help me out so I can actually get a carry gun. Don't you feel sorry? I can tell you the sob story. I had to sell my carry gun along with my revolver and another gun because I had to raise $1,500 really, really fast so I could save my cat's life. And so I got those sold really quickly. Was able to get all the money I needed, which left me pretty much defenseless. So would have been worse, but the person fell to the sale of my shotgun, so I still have that. So I got home defense. I had to, do that to save my cat's life, and then sadly, he had basically they're called crystals, but think of it as a cat had the whole bladder filled up with kidney stones. He's only 2 years old. And he blocked up 2 weeks later, so thankfully I was able to bring him in there, and the vet that took care of him adopted him because I could not afford the surgery that they need, but she was able to provide that for him. So I was able to save my cat's life, and you could look at it, saving your dog's life and do the same thing, but for me it's a cat. So I had to sell my firearms to save my cat's life. So he's still alive and doing really well at his new house. his new home. So it's really good for him. So now I'm parting with knives because I knew knives would be a lot slower to sell than firearms. So now I'm selling my knives so I can buy a carry gun. Because you love these Saturday night chats, don't you? I sure hope so, because if I don't get a carry gun, I could be killed out in the street because somebody knows I don't have a carry gun.
Yeah, you could get killed by a drunk driver in Green Bay.
Well, that's a lot less likely to happen since I drive in the middle of the day only, and I don't go anywhere near the stadium on game days.
Okay.
So if you want these chats, you can always donate to MrQuark71 at gmail.com. Hey, if you even send me $1, that's $1 more I have than Blue Line.
What you cut out? What'd you say?
You cheap ass.
Oh, thank you, Court. It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Yeah, I thought about doing a raffle where if everybody don't, but I probably have one person buy a raffle ticket and they get all get all my knives. I thought about raffling them off for a second there, but
Thin Blue Line, are you a police officer?
No, sir.
Okay.
He's 19 years old, lives at
I
Hartwood.
am not 18.
If you're a police officer, you could have gave Quark your law enforcement discount.
Hell no, I'm not going to give Cork anything.
I was going to say this. He's Thin Blue Line. He's 19, lives at home with mommy and daddy.
I thought I was 12.
Doesn't go to school.
How do you know what I do,
Supposedly
Cork?
he works at some job that lets him work from home, but he never has any money. He can't even buy a $45 knife.
I have money. I just don't feel like spending it on a knife. And I explained the whole thing to you earlier.
Oh, and before, Fistful of Palmer, yeah. I do want 15 rounds, but that's kind of why I'm saying in there, 23 is a little bit easier to carry, but they're Gen 2s.
Yeah, but you can put a 22 magazine in your 23.
That's exactly it.
Or you can
But
get
no,
a
I want a
plate.
I want a Gen 3 frame. I don't want a Gen 2. I'm dealing with a 40 cal, and they beat up on guns pretty bad. But the nice thing about the 22 is you can always get a 357 SIG barrel.
Or the 9 barrel.
Better caliber there. But Pink Panther, I'm actually bookmarking this page, so I have it, so I've got more reference points. So thank you for that. I'm always looking for places I can look up, at least compare prices of gun, and see how much they cost to ship them, and that's a big thing. I mean, if shipping's going to be, oh boy, this gun's $10 cheaper, but shipping's twice as much. Doesn't pay for that $10 difference. That's CDNN's pretty cool because they charge $18 for shipping, and then this. I always forget the name, the one that Ralph pointed out. Yes, I'm actually crediting Ralph. I credit Ralph when Ralph is due credit. This Sportsman's Outdoor Superstore has free shipping. And I'm just going to go there and just, as soon as this page loads, I'm going to tell you some of the guns, and you can tell me if that's a good deal or not for some of you out there watching. There we go. Sorry, the site's a little hard to navigate, but come on, load. Used guns. We got a Glock 31, 357 SIG, with 3 mags for $365.71. They have a Glock 36 45 for $428. That's on my price range. Should have even looked at that. Smith & Wesson Model 10 for $250. I could almost buy that today. They've got a Glock 17 for $400, $399, but that's on the borderline. I'd really definitely would like a 9mm or 40. That's my preference. That's a Gen 2 Glock. Glock 22 Gen 2 for $400. Glock 21 for $398. I'm looking at all guns under a certain price point if you haven't figured that out. Glock 19 again for $369.72. SIG 250C with night sights for $350. Little expensive there. And then a Glock 19 with 3 mags for $400. So nothing out there that really standing out. Now the next page. I know there's more in here because they're showing all the used guns, but I know I'm blabbing on. Oh, I can get a Beretta 96D 40 Smith & Wesson double action only for $329.99.
I mean, you always got the Canic option too.
Yeah, but I'd rather take something that's been a lot more tried out in the field.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
The Canics are a little too new for me to get behind. Glock 23 Gen 2 for $339. But of course, that is notify me when it's in stock.
You know, as soon as you buy a gun, somebody will have something for cheaper. You know, that happens all the time too.
Yeah. I hate these. They're not telling me that they're in stock. That's the issue with the site. They don't tell me if anything's in stock. So I'm going to continue talking more just to myself, I guess. But,
How many viewers do we have there, Court?
low teens, probably.
Oh,
I don't know. 19, actually.
that ain't too bad.
It's not a good night. It's been my chat started way too late, so it's half-assed to start with. Firearms. I'm going to CDNN and see what CDNN has. Pre-owned. There we go. I'll wait for this to load. Sadly, they got the Beretta 96 40 S&W double action only in very good condition for $300. I don't know anything about the 96D. They have a Smith & Wesson M&P for $339.99. But then they've got Smith & Wesson like M&P 40 again with night sights in very good condition. It comes with the case, a tactical fighting pen, and a holster. So that's $350. Third gen Glock 22 is $350. That's the cheapest Glock right now. I'm seeing it's $350 for. before actually one's in stock. It would be nice if they were $20 cheaper, but But then I can go with this, I could buy a 6-hour P229R night sights, which is single double action, for $650. That's not going to happen. I can't raise that money with my sales. Yeah, I'm looking, the Smith & Wesson M&P, the 40, at $340 is in like new condition.
As much as I love Glocks, I think Smith & Wesson is up the ante a little bit, in my opinion.
Well, they definitely have. This price of $340 for one that's like new has definitely got my attention. I just hate the trigger.
Well, yeah, it's a personal choice thing. You can't argue. Yeah.
For $10 more, I can get a Glock, a very good Glock 22 with one. And this is from the San Diego Police Department.
Yeah, well, bottom line, go with what you want to get,
I know.
If it's $10 freaking, who freaking cares,
I know. And nobody bought a knife for me this whole video. Shame on you out there, folks.
I get freaking more knives than I don't need anymore.
You could always use a nice Kershaw blur for an everyday carry.
If you had an M9 bayonet, I'd be interested.
I have no bayonets.
Yeah.
I would sell my United Cutlery M48 Tactical Tomahawk. Only problem, it'd probably cost me like $10 a ship, and I'd sell it for $20, and it's like, not for $10. I'm not.
It don't fit in that little $5
box.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm keeping myself my neck knife, my little wood-style dagger knife. But it's a neck knife, cold steel hideout, double-sided neck knife.
Okay.
For my off-carry, I have a Buck Quick Fire. That's an off-carry knife for me. I always carry that in my offhand. And my cold steel tie light. There's one other knife. My Ganzo 712. Just because I want a knife with access locks, I can play with it. Okay. But that was a $20 knife to begin. Well, I think $23. And I played around with it, modified it. One of the screws is stripped anyway, so I could get like $10 for that. Not worth it. So that's what I'm keeping, folks. Besides, my dad's knives and those that were given to me as gifts. So I'm selling off everything else. I'm keeping 2 knives I bought and 1 I fucked up. I know you guys want Quark to have a carry gun again. Even G-Web's bought some knives from me. And G-Webs is broker than I am. He kept asking me to sell my Benchmade to him for $30.
Wow.
No, but in all seriousness, I do have some really nice knives out there for decent prices. They're, almost all of them are in like new condition too. So, they went through my little test and then been put in a knife drawer. My knife display boxes actually. So that's why they, most of them spent their life. I carry them around. Some knives I carried around a little bit longer than others, but they all have had their life. They've been sharpened once, and that was after I got done testing them out. So they're, as I said, like new condition. You get some great deals on some knives. And the sooner I raise this money for the Glock, the sooner you'll get to see a video of me showing off the Glock. The sooner I stop talking about selling knives. Exactly. So you can actually hear me shut up about this topic. No, I hate to have to make Huck go through all the work to sell them on eBay, too. You don't want Huck to take away his precious time from his business to sell them on eBay, do you? I hope not, because then you're just cruel people out there listening and watching. I can run through the list. You can watch the video. I know it's a 20-minute long video, but I had to deal with my little cat deciding that she wanted to be the center of attention. Again, I got a Kershaw Blur, Desert Tan. It's Sandvik 14C 28N, DLC coatings. Handle is anodized aluminum with TrackTech inserts. It's 3 3/8 inches inch blade. Close length 4.5 inches. Weight 4 ounces. Tip up or tip down pocket carry. Made in the USA. And it's got speed safe. So it's an awesome, awesome knife. Then Blue Line's missing out on a great deal. I got the Bird Car 2, which is Spyderco's entry line. Really nice knife for the price. It's got, you know, phosphor bronze pivot washers, spine and choil jimping, 4-position pocket clip. So if you're lefty or righty, it's perfect for you. It's got the Bird Spidey hole. You know, it's just shaped a little bit into the Spidey hole that you use to flip it. 8.5 inch open length. The blade length is 3.75 inches. 8 CR13 MOV steel. It's got 3.2 inch cutting edge. Really nice. I got the Kershaw Tension 1490, which is a Cabela's exclusive. No longer made. They are completely sold out of them. Again, 8 CR13 MOV steel. This is just a thumb stud opening, closing, G10 handles. $20. That's a steal. It's a heavy knife, but it's a very beefy blade. It's 5.8 ounces. Kershaw Asset, which is a speed safe knife. Again, the 8 CR13 MOV steel. Glass field nylon handles. Blade lengths 3.25 inches. This is the, I call it the fillet knife. That's got that sweeping edge. It's like very scimitarish fish fillet look. And it weighs under 4 ounces. The Ontario Utilitech 2, $20, 3.5 inch blade. It's a little bit heavier, like 5.6 ounces, but it's Oz 8A steel, which is really nice. I prefer it over the 8CR13 MOV. Really nice knife for the price. Again, $20, you can get yourself a nice knife. Cold Steel GI Tanto that I modified. I actually stippled the handles to a gentle stipple. They will not rip up your hands. The texture on those grips, if you get your hands wet using that knife at all, it'll just fly out of your hands. This way it won't. So you got that all done for you, and I'm only asking $20. This knife's going to cost me at least $7 or $8 to ship. So you get it for $20. That's a big fixed blade knife. It's awesome. It's a 7-inch long Tanto blade. 1055 carbon steel. I mean, it's a steel from Cold Steel. Thing's built like a tank. Got the Buck 110 Echolite, that Ghost Town Custom Knives modified. Again, I talked to you all day about it, but he put on a pocket clip on there, so you can actually carry it in your pocket, no problems. He added the thumb stud, so you can open it with your thumb. He added jimping on the thumb stud. He added jimping on the frame and on the blade, in the back of the blade, so you get nice secure grip. $50, and that's, you know, the 420 HC stainless steel, which is awesome steel because Buck treats their they treat their steel right there. They're awesome. The Buck 110 finger groove model. This is a finger groove model, not the typical straight edge. They don't make as many finger grooves. They're more expensive. This is a 1993 or 1994 version, so it was right when they switched over to 420 HC steel. So I think it's either the first or the second year of the 420 HC steel. So it's a really nice. I mean, it looks almost brand new. It was really well taken care of. The blade's perfect. Got the K-Bar Warthog. This is over $50 online. It's a K-Bar, so you're not getting a nice knife right there. I mean, this thing is a chopper. You could fell a tree with this knife, I swear. It's big, it's heavy, it's 1085 carbon steel. Got a nice nice sheath, nice secure sheath. 6 3/4 inch blade. Again, it's kind of like it's almost like a butcher's knife. It's just that kind of look to it. Then I got the Kershaw Storm 2, which is a USA-made Kershaw that they don't make anymore. This has been out of manufacture for at least 5 years. It's got a teeny tiny scratch on the blade. It's barely noticeable. Very lightly used. It actually came with a scratch on the blade when I got it. And since they don't make it anymore, I couldn't return it because they're actually sold out. So $40 for a USA-made Kershaw. Again, that's a steal. You know, most of those sell over $50 easy. So there you go. Those are the knives I actually have up for sale. I got a couple on hold. Now, Girk's going to buy my work sharp knife and tool sharpener. So sadly, I'm only going to get like $35 after shipping that thing, but still, it's $35. And everybody left. Oh well. I got my sales pitch in at the end. That's the important part. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching. All 17 of you. I want to thank Douglas for coming out on his first night. I hope it wasn't too bad for you. I want to thank the panelists that contributed tonight. Thanks for watching.